Hello and welcome to another episode of Transportation Nation. I'm your host, Lee Gentry, along with my co-host, Caitlin Folks. Good morning.
Good morning, Lee.
How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm
Guess
excited.
what? This week is Drivers Appreciation Week.
Yeah.
I think it's the week of September 15th. And it's a time to recognize and thank all of our drivers, especially at Bennett.
Yeah.
Drivers, owner-operators, contractors. We've got a slew of them that work for us, almost 4,000 now.
Yeah, I know. It's amazing with all different companies. We're
Yes.
very blessed.
We are very blessed. So, I always say we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them.
Yeah.
And I know you agree with that. I mean, truck drivers in this nation move fuel, food. If you're buying it or you're eating it, a truck driver brought it to you.
Yeah, that's something that, my grandma has always said. If you look at anything around the room, a truck driver has brought it here, which is pretty amazing. They're essential workers, just like nurses and doctors, law enforcement. So we're very fortunate to live and breathe and be a part of this industry every day.
Really are.
So we
We
got
really
a very
are.
exciting episode today.
We do. We
What are
have
we
a
gonna
couple of
talk about?
guests,
Yeah.
drivers. I know that we did a test run on all this, and it was funny. We looked at the survey yesterday and said, you need to bring some drivers on. I'm thinking, we're doing that this next episode. So it's pretty interesting. So, yeah, Drivers Appreciation is really a cool week. I know when I used to drive, we didn't have any of that. But to do it now, we've been doing it for quite a few years now, really, really hyping it up. I think we used to do it live at the office. We did all kinds of stuff there. But now we're kind of doing it on a program to where they can just watch it online, right?
Yeah, because our drivers are everywhere.
They're
They're on the
everywhere.
road, they're moving freight, or they're in a quick downtime. And so we have to be fluid and flexible for their schedule. But I'm excited for today's episode. We're going to cover really Bennett's 50 years of how we appreciate and care about our drivers. We're going to hear some driver stories today.
And I can't wait to hear them either.
It's going to be wonderful. So, all right, you were a truck driver. Then, like you said, you became an agent. You've been with Bennett.
Almost 40,
Almost
well, right
40.
40 years. I just
Almost
celebrated
40.
40 years.
Yeah. So somewhere in there, probably 30 years ago, when Bennett was still in its early kind of startup years, there was a time where Grandma said, I want to start a driver advisory board to really hear from our drivers.
See,
And you were a part of that.
I was.
So why did she want to do that? What was the main reason? And then what was that kind of like early on back then?
Well, I would say, we all know Marcy, she loves everybody, wants to hear from everybody. So when we sat down and talked about, she wanted to start one is because she said, we got to know what's going on in the field. We have to know what the drivers are thinking and how we can help them and what they're struggling with. So we need to know all that so we can make changes within our own organization. And what was interesting about that, Kaylin, is that was on the cutting edge. No other trucking company had an advisory board. Marcy started an advisory board and selected drivers of 12, men and women, brought them on. And I remember having the very first meeting and, going through all of that. But she started that. Now other trucking companies have that, but she started that. And that, I feel that was a great success for us as a company because we got to hear from the drivers, we got to hear what they were thinking, and we could make the necessary changes to make sure that we help them grow and do what they needed to do to be successful at our companies. I truly believe, Kaylin, that's how we've grown because we've showed that we care about our drivers.
Yeah.
And we've done something about it. So, and that's why we're celebrating Drivers Appreciation Week, to really thank them. And it's really a cool week. A lot going on that during the Drivers Appreciation Week.
Yeah, I think every day there's something different. In years past and this year, they can go on Driver's IG to see what's going on. And then we have different things going on Facebook Live, different shows, I guess is the right word for it, that they can tune in for. I know that we have one just dedicated for our women drivers. That's why I'm wearing my pink shirt today for our Women in the Driver's Seat program. And yeah, like you said, there's different locations all throughout the nation that they can go to get a free meal, to, just rest. We're going to be doing a lot of giveaways that week. I think you just mentioned that, but some really great things, tires.
A lot of money.
Yeah, and a lot of money. Cash is king.
Marcy, yeah,
Yeah. She's also fundraising all week for the Driver Relief Fund.
Operation Relief.
Operation Relief, which is also something that you helped start with her many, many years ago. I mean, gosh, I don't even know how long we've had it, but I know it's probably 30 years we've had a Driver Relief Fund. Um, so let's talk about that for a second and why we started that as a company.
Well, back in the day, Marcy really recognized the fact that there were drivers that needed help. Either a family member had injured or had a heart attack or a fire or whatever the case may be. Maybe they didn't have the correct insurance or didn't have the funds to help them.
Yeah.
So Marcy suggested we start a relief fund to try to help drivers and agents.
Mm-hmm.
If they're going through a tough time, that we can try to give them some money, and the boards control that money.
Yeah.
The boards say who gets them, who doesn't, and so every year they do raffles. Most all the companies do, and they're doing them right now. They're doing the raffles, and if you haven't gotten a raffle, you need to make sure you call your dispatcher and get a couple of raffles or so.
Yeah.
But the neat thing about this is anything over $10,000 that a division raises, Mrs. Taylor matches that, whatever they do, up to 10,000. And so if they raise 10, Marcy gives them 10.
Yeah.
So that goes in the relief fund of $20,000. And my gosh, over the years, we have raised thousands of dollars to help our drivers. So it's really that's a good program.
Yeah, and I know even the employees, they want to be a part of it. Like you said, the employees and the agents can buy a raffle, or we do the payroll deductions,
We do.
and you can contribute to the Driver Relief Fund because we want to be able to help drivers in need. Because like you said, it's usually that fund is for a time that they're going through a very difficult time. It's a time of crisis. And so we want to be there to help support our drivers.
To thank you for what you do every single day. We thank and we appreciate what they do, because
Yeah.
Without them, again, we wouldn't be where we're at today.
That's right. That's right. Well, Lee, I think that's a great segue into let's hear from some of our own drivers of what life is like on the road for them and hear some really great driver stories.
I can't wait to hear him. So I think next we have a driver from Drive Away,
Yeah.
Jeff Duke. So
Jeff
we
Duke.
want to welcome Jeff Duke to the program this morning.
Okay. All right. Let's hear from Jeff.
All right, we're here this morning with Jeff Duke. Good morning, Jeff, and welcome to Transportation Nation. We're excited that you're with us today.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Glad to be here.
Well, we're glad you are with us.
Yes.
Yeah, we're excited. We've
Yeah.
heard so much about you and all you've done with Driveway. You work for Driveway, right?
Yes, sir.
How long did you work with Driveway? How long have you been working with them?
October will be 12 years.
Wow, that's a long time. So tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you like to do with your hobbies, with
I like
family?
I like to work.
You like to work?
I like to work.
But you have a family? Do you have any
I
hobbies?
have a wife.
You have a wife? That's good.
I have one son. And other than that, that's about it.
Yeah.
But you like to work.
Oh, yes.
So, Jeff, at the office, how I know you is you always got your cowboy hat on and your boots. So you're known as the cowboy at the office.
I know
Yeah.
when you walked in this morning, when he came in today, he had his cowboy hat on, wearing his boots. He's ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, he's ready. You're ready to go. So, Jeff, and you live local to our
Monticello.
Monticello. Okay, so that's pretty local to our corporate office here in McDonough. So, have you been there? Are you a native to Georgia?
Yeah, born and raised here.
Born and raised.
I was raised in Butts County. I've been in Monticello probably 13 years.
Okay. So, how did you hear about Bennett?
A friend of mine
Okay.
told me about it, Kim Jenkins. And I think at the time, she hadn't been too long, came to Bennett. And it was on a weekend trip we had taken with her. Me and my wife had taken with her. And it just seemed like a good place, just the way she talked about it. And at that time, the company I worked for, I was not very happy with them.
Mm-hmm.
So it opened up an option for me, and I looked into it.
So they treat you right. Keep you busy,
I
or
feel
as
I-
busy as you want to be, right?
You're as busy as you want to be.
Yeah.
It's a job where you have to be self-motivated to make it.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not self-motivated, you're not going to do it.
Yeah.
It's easy to just sit at the house, I guess, if you want to. Yeah.
Mhm.
If you're an owner operator, you got to get it. Or a contractor or driver,
Right.
you got to get it. You got to get after it.
I mean, I'm the over 200 trucks a year. Easy. I think about 250,
That's
somewhere in there.
Yeah.
That's a lot of equipment.
You do
And
stay busy. You don't have time for horses.
well, I feel at home sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, I may work 3 days a week one week. Next week, I might work the whole week. Next week, I might not work but 2. But
hmm
it's just staying at it.
Tell us. I know you said you sometimes your weeks change, but Bennett Drive Away. What's your day like, or what's your week like with Bennett Drive Away? Because you're home a lot, which is great because that's one of our divisions that allow you to be able to be pretty flexible. So can you share with us a little bit what Drive Away is like?
I mean, I think you can do better if you have a tow vehicle
Mm-hmm.
because while you're sitting around waiting for a plane to go 3 or 4 hours, you can be there by the time you get off the plane.
Right. Yeah.
Plus, you're in
Yeah.
control of your own destiny.
That's
When
right.
you deliver the vehicle, you know that you've got a way to the next location, right? So you're guaranteed that. You don't have to worry about trying to get somebody to get you to the bus station.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It
And I
helps you.
think you can control your expenses a whole lot better that
Sure.
way too.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you have a crazy story? Anything you've seen at a truck stop or?
I have a story about a gentleman I met back some years ago because I had a problem with my personal tow vehicle. And I had delivered a truck down in Florida. And when I undid my truck and started off, I realized I had a wheel bearing going out
In your personal truck.
on my personal truck, a front wheel bearing.
Oh no.
And it was late, so wouldn't know where to get no parts. I made it as far as I thought I could make it. Didn't even make it to a truck stop. I did make it to the truck stop. I finally made it to the truck stop and camped out in my truck that night. Next morning, I tried to get to a parts store that was fairly close, but I couldn't make it that far, and I found a vacant lot. And right next door to it was a U-Haul place, a little mom and pop truck stop. They did U-Hauls and all. And I tried to go next door and I had to rent a vehicle just to get down to the parts store 2 miles away. And I never did credit cards and all, so they wouldn't rent me a vehicle because I did not have a credit card.
Man.
And my wife at the time had one, but they wouldn't take hers over the phone. So I'm kind of stuck there. And as I turn around, I see an older gentleman standing there. Well, he walked out the door right behind me. And I looked back and I saw him, and he was kind of like I was. He was dressed basically like I dress all the time, with the denim and the cowboy hat and all. I'm like, yeah, whatever. And I turned around and I offered him money if he would take me down to the parts store to get the parts I needed. And he did. He wouldn't take the money in the end, but he did. And the gentleman was retired from the Air Force.
Nice.
And he done security and all after he retired and all. And we got to talking while we were going down to the parts store and on the way back when he dropped me off. He stood there for a few minutes. Then he handed me a card, his business card with his name and his cell phone number on it. He said he was going to be around town there for a little while. If I needed anything else, to give him a call.
Nice.
Which I ended up having issues with the way the thing was working out. And just as I was about to get it all put back together, I hear somebody walk up behind me, and it's this gentleman again. He's came back to check on me.
Nice.
Only time in my life I ever met the man. First time I'd ever met him. And it was just something about him. He just had a personality. And after that, and after I left, me and him text back and forth for about 4 years
Oh my gosh.
on holidays and stuff. We text each other.
So you found a friend that you didn't know you were going to find a friend.
And like I said, he had invited me back down at one time. I didn't get a chance to go down there. I was busy. And later on, the last time I texted him was around Easter. And I didn't get a response. First time I never got a response. About 2 weeks later, I got a response from his wife that he had passed away.
Oh,
Oh, that's sad.
So I found out about the arrangements, and I took the time off to go down there for his memorial service.
That's so nice of you to do that. Very nice of you to do
And I
that.
mean, I had something to say, you don't know him. I said, yeah, but he touched me
mhm.
just with his sincerity and the way he was.
Yeah.
I mean, you never know who you're going to meet out down the road.
Well, you don't.
Mm.
And you don't know what kind you're going to meet out
Right.
on the road.
You can walk by somebody at trust something, good morning, and they don't even speak to you
Right.
Yeah.
and look at you like, why are you talking to them?
Right. I don't know about you, but I don't want to live that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to be able to be friendly to people, but you're right. Sometimes you say good morning to people, they just look at you and say, why are you saying that to me? Just
Yeah.
leave me alone. But well, Jeff, thanks for sharing that story. I was thinking when you were telling that story, like an angel.
I know.
And
'cause
I don't know,
a
if you were
guardian
saying
angel.
that the guardian angel was
Mhm.
there to kind of help you along the way. It's nice of you to go be with this family with this passing. So, well, Jeff, we appreciate you being with us today. It's Driver's Appreciation Week, and
Yes.
you and all I think there's what 1,500 driveway drivers, men and women, contractors that are out there
Mhm.
doing it every day. I always think, well, not like we're sitting here right now, but think about all the drivers that are out there right now working for us, driving up and down the highways.
Yeah.
I met Miss Taylor some years back, right after my first full year, and just her personality and the fact that she showed that she appreciated you. I met her at a symposium,
Nice.
and first thing she did was came in there, and because of the cowboy hat and stuff, she's like, "You've got to be Jeff." And I told her yes, and she started telling me, she hugged my neck and told me how much she appreciated me. The next morning, she was doing the same thing again.
She's real. She's genuine,
Yeah.
and
I
she
mean,
means
she
that.
is. And that evening after the program, I was going to speak to her, and I was standing there, and she was in a conversation with a agent that I worked with. We were sitting with his wife, him, and dispatcher I used, Al McDonough at the time, and Miss Joyce Outlaw was,
Mhm.
and she had gotten in conversation with the agent and his wife, and we stood there for about 10 minutes and all, and I told my wife, I'm like, we'll go on, we'll see her again before the night's over, in the morning before we leave. And I start to the back of the hall we're in. I get all the way to the door, going out the door, and I hear somebody running up behind me, calling my name. And I look around, and it's Miss Taylor.
Oh. Mhm.
Hugged my neck, shook my hand, and told me how much she appreciated me. Again, she doesn't realize how much I appreciated her doing that.
Well, Jeff, thanks for being here
Yeah,
today.
thank you, Jeff. Thank you so much for sharing your stories with us and just giving us a little glimpse into what it's like into your life and being a driver out on the road. And we do appreciate you and thank you for all that you do. And I know you're heading out just after this to go. You're going to work. You're going
Yeah.
to North Carolina, I think.
Right.
And yeah, so
North Carolina.
yeah, be careful when you're out on the road. And
Always.
I'll see you in the office with your cowboy hat on.
Yeah, very cool. Thank you,
And
Jeff.
thank you for having me.
And please tell your wife thank you because she let you go out on the road and do what you need to do to support the family. So make sure you thank her for us as well. And again, thank you for being a part of us, this company. So thank you again, and enjoy Drivers Appreciation Week and get some money while you're watching all of
Yeah.
that. So
That helps a little bit.
it doesn't hurt anything at all. So Jeff, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, Caitlin, we're back with a very special guest. We enjoyed interviewing Jeff Duke from Driveway. That was pretty awesome to have him
Yeah.
with us today. But we have the world famous Violet with us today. And Violet, welcome to the program.
Well, thank you. I appreciate being here today.
Yeah, welcome again, Violet. So Violet, we're just going to get right into it. So you are a driver for Ace Doran, the wind division, and you represent us across many fields, which we'll get into in a moment. But first, let's just start with you. How did you get into this career?
Family tradition.
Okay, so who in your family was a driver?
My dad, my grandfather, my uncle, and that's all I can remember right now. But I come from a long line of drivers.
So it's in your blood. So
Yes.
can you share with us what's a week look like for you as you're out on the road? What's a day in the life like?
Um, Sometimes it's crazy, sometimes it's easy. Um, so right now it's like, for me that I'm not able to haul any wind loads, but I've been doing some general freight just to stay busy. You know, I got in last night. I had to do some minor repairs on the truck, and of course, I've got oil stained hands now. And so um today, I pretty much have today off. I do the podcast. I gotta take my truck in for an alignment, and then back to the grind tomorrow. So this one agent's thinking about putting me on a van trailer, so I think that's kind of funny.
Okay. When's the last time you pulled van?
Back in, I want to say like 2015.
Okay.
So it's been a while. Tell us about your
Yeah,
tractor. What type of tractor do you own?
I have a 2019 Peterbilt 567. It's got the
Peterbilt.
560. Yes, Peterbilt. And it's got the 565 Cummins in it with the 18-speed manual transmission and 325 rear ends. The truck was built to fly.
Beautiful. I've had the privilege of seeing your tractor, and it's beautiful.
But thank you. Yeah, it's themed. It's kind of got like a John Deere theme because it's I'm a farm girl and I love my John Deeres and I just wanted to take it on the road, and so my truck is named Plow Girl. So
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, that's a neat name.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Plow Girl. That's a pretty neat name.
yeah, I got tired of being accused of being a Green Bay Packers fan.
Well, that's okay. That's not the end of the world. Well, Violet, this is Driver Appreciation Week, and I mentioned to you earlier, you and I have been involved in a few Driver Appreciation Week events, and Bristol, Tennessee, brings to mind that we were up there doing some things up there. So I've had the joy of working with you on different events. So you're a joy to be around, a hoot to be around. So it's really nice to have you on the program. Everybody knows Violet. I mean, most everybody knows who Violet is. She's been on the advisory board.
Right.
She's on the WIDS now, right,
Yeah,
Caitlin?
yeah. You're the chair of the WIDS, the Women in the Driver's Seat Advisory Board. So we have an entire advisory board that's just dedicated to our female owner operators and drivers. So Violet chairs that for us, and we're very honored and proud that she can represent us in that way. So speaking of Violet representing us, Lee, why don't you help us share the story about Tia Petro?
T.A. Petro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that. Tim Hadd and I were up in Cleveland meeting with the brand new CEO of T.A. Petro, during our meeting, she had mentioned about us partnering together because again, she's a woman. She now runs T.A. Petro, and she wants to try to make the truck stops a little bit more convenient for the lady driver. So
Yeah.
so we talked about that, and we said, first of all, we said we'd be honored to partner with you. Tim and I came back, met with Marcy, and talked to her about all that. And they wanted to do a ride along. They wanted to put a TA Petro person in a truck, and they wanted to do it with us. And so that person from TA Petro could see what it was like. Two things. One, when they pulled into a truck stop. So I don't think she shared who she was, but they wanted to see what happened when they arrived in a truck stop. And two, she wanted to ride in a real truck with a real truck driver. And so when we came back and talked about it, Marcy and them said, well, there's only one that I can think of, and that would be Violet. So Violet, tell us about that story, being with the TA Petro person representative and being out on the road and taking her to see what it looks like in a truck stop. TA Petro truck
Um,
stop, I guess.
yes, it was, and it was quite interesting. She was kind of amazed that yeah, we found a shop that was able to get us in, and we got the oil change and seen the process, and it was, you know, it was good, and we got to hang out while they serviced the truck. We got to hang out at the TA for about 8 hours, and she got to, see me engage with other drivers, and she's like, you just you just have a way with drivers that it's like, well, it's what we do, and her biggest thing is, like, I think the most remarkable thing that she thought was awesome on her trip is that when we were sitting there waiting for the truck to get finished, this driver came in, and you know, he kind of smiled at me and walked by, and then he came back and we sparked up a conversation with him, and because he was all smiles, so I had to know what he was so smiling about, and he's like, it's just being out here, and we talked a little bit, and and he was actually kind of down on his luck, and he was hungry, and so I reached into my pocket, pulled out a 20, and I go, well, here, go get you something to eat. And
Oh, wow.
Debbie couldn't believe that I had just done that just without question, and
Mm.
gave this young driver some money so he can go get something to eat, because I think we've all been there before.
Yeah.
And and then we get to our loading location, and I um drop Debbie off at the Debbie Shelton, not Debbie Bofa,
Mm-hmm.
at the motel, and she's like, I pulled up in the center turn lane and stopped, and got her luggage out of the truck, and she's like, well, can't you pull into the motel parking lot? I go, with all due respect, ma'am, that parking lot is not big enough for me. He's like, I never really thought about that. So the next morning, and I get loaded, and we get ready to pull out of the plant, and she gets to the truck, and she's like, man, this is way bigger than what it was when it was empty. I go, yeah, things change a little bit overnight.
Mm.
And she kind of laughed about that, but and she's just like, I've never seen anything like this so up close. So she definitely had a blast, and got to see what it was like, and that with the loads I haul, I just don't fit in any truck stop, and
Mhm.
we got to make parking where parking is doable in a safe way. So
Yeah.
Well, sound like that went well with her. And
yeah,
I think they had TA Petra has their own board now that works with I think with us, some of our women, to partner up and making sure that they're doing things at the truck stops, especially the TA Petras, to make sure they're more woman friendly.
Yeah.
So, Violet, how long you been with Ace Bennett? I guess we didn't ask you that. How long you been with us?
I think in April of 26, is it close to being 10 years?
Wow. So next April will be 10 years?
That's what, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
That's wonderful. Man, time flies.
Oh
Time
yeah, most
flies.
definitely.
So Violet, we know that you just got back from Washington, that you were selected to represent female drivers, but to go with Bennett and our Women Driver Advisory Board up to do the ATA's Call on Washington. So what was that like? What were some things that y'all advocated for, and how did y'all represent Bennett while you were up there?
And who did you get to
We're
see? And who did you get to
Yeah,
see?
and who'd you see?
I got to see James Langford, the Oklahoma senator. I think that's who he is. Sorry, I'm not. And then we got to see my district rep, Mr. Cole's associate, or we didn't get to meet with Mr. Cole, but our district councilman was unavailable that day, but it was really cool talking to our Senator Langford. He was quite the character, and yeah, and then we got to meet with the secretary of the labor board, and that was really cool. And he said that they're working on trying to get that, trying to eliminate like all the small fleets and owner operators, and the secretary of the labor department or the labor board said that he thought that was the biggest joke, and they're working on trying to get that off.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
good
crazy.
because that's a big problem right now in our industry. So I'm glad that y'all got to go
Yeah.
up there, and I think that means a lot for these senators And anyone in politics really they need to hear the voices of the road so that they can hear what it's like. They have no idea what it's like. So they need to listen.
And I bet they were surprised to see all these women converge on the
Oh yeah,
Capitol. I mean, all these women. I've been there a couple of times to call on Washington. Pretty cool to walk down the hallways there, right?
to me it's like very historic. Is just walking down those halls and seeing like you know, I mean, words can't explain what I saw, but to me it was such an awesome experience.
And you also have won several awards from Bennett, a few being our Women Driver of Excellence. You were a previous winner of those awards, and I know that you've received several accolades outside of Bennett as well. So, very distinguished and rightfully so because you are a very safe driver and a wonderful driver. And we're just so honored that you are with Bennett and Ace Storin. And so, Violet, I guess, Lee, we were curious, out of all these things, what award or what recognition means the most to you?
It's like I do appreciate being recognized by grids about women driver of excellence, and no, I think that's pretty cool. But my biggest accomplishment, and actually Bennett nominated me for, was the driver of the year for the Specialized Carriers and Rigging Association.
That was a big deal.
Yes, and it was like, and it was so funny because we was in St. Louis and we were sitting there having lunch with your grandma and I was telling her, I go, this is very awesome, that I appreciate all what you've done for me and I've been really blessed to work with Ace Duran on the wind division and and I still can't believe that I won driver of the year for the SCNRA. And she looked at me and she's like, what? She's like, oh, I'm going to get that Rob Simon. He didn't tell me about it. But it was total shock that she didn't realize that one of her drivers had won the driver of the year for the SDNRA.
That's
And I thought and then Rob Simon goes walking by, just like zipping by, like, he's like, and she kind of shook her finger at him, like, we're gonna have a talk later, mister. It was awesome.
Yeah, we knew that was very special for you.
Yeah,
Sure.
what year was that?
2017.
Okay.
And I received the award February of 2018.
That's wonderful. Well, congratulations. Like I said, well deserving of all your accomplishments and your awards. But Violet, I'm curious. I have a question for you, more of a personal question. So, you are a female driver in a male dominated industry. What is some advice that you would give to an up and coming female driver that's wanting to start in their career? Like, is it road advice? Is it load advice? What are some advice that you would give to that driver?
Um, Pretty much is don't let your peers or other drivers intimidate you. You're out here for yourself to like I said, and don't let other people manipulate you to make decisions. Hold your own, and if this is your passion and this is something that you want to do, don't you know don't let that you know as they say is mountain. There's no mountain too tall to climb to get to where you're at, and like I said, and along the way, it's not easy. I've had my ups and downs, and trees falling, and it's taken me a little bit to get them moved out of my way or for me to get over them, but um. It's just never quit trying, and and eventually you'll get to the top of your mountain, and you'll look down and realize all of the struggles and stuff that you've accomplished and came over, and like I said, is you got to focus on that you're doing it for you and not nobody else.
Mm, that's
Yeah,
good.
great question. That was a great question. Yeah, very much so. So, Violet, thanks for being with us. Enjoy Drivers Appreciation Week. And thank you for being a part of the Bennett. So, God bless you and thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
All right. Well, that takes care of talking with our drivers and getting ready for Drivers Appreciation Week. It's been an exciting episode,
Mhm.
and we appreciate everybody joining us today. So if you have any questions, please let us know. Our next episode, I believe, is around I can't even talk, the truck show and the wreath stuff. So that's coming up next. And then after that is wreaths across America. So a lot more episodes to come, and a lot of great people are going to be on there. It's going to be a lot of fun. I know that we've reached out to Wreaths Across America in Columbia Falls, Maine, and I think Karen, the executive director, is going to be joining us. So we have some cool guests that are going to be joining us. Caitlin and I enjoy being with you and being part of this podcast. So until our next episode, God bless you and thank you for being a part.
Be sure to subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Amazon Music and never miss an episode. Together, we can move anything.